Hello, everyone. I am Brandon, host of the On Fire podcast, and I am not here with anyone today due to recent COVID in our lives. Everyone is stuck at home, and I am doing this all by myself today. So, it's unfortunate we couldn't have anybody like Blake or Colton here, but, next week we'll get back to that. Last week's episode was freaking insanely received. Everybody loves that Colton guy, and I'm sure he'll be on a lot more future episodes for sure. But we'll get to that in the future. Just a big thank you to Colton for coming on. I loved his opinions last week and just how he was able to. He obviously knew a lot about the players that he cared about and everything, and all the stats from the week before. He didn't you could tell that the guy watches hockey because he just knows, right? So it was good to have a guest like that on the podcast. Cannot wait to have him back. Yeah, he's a really good energy to bring back. So, you know, didn't watch a whole lot of hockey this week. I'm not going to lie to you guys. But that doesn't matter because I caught myself up to speed really quick. I just want to, give a little shout out to the people watching on YouTube here. You can see that I'm rocking the Letterkenny Irish jersey. Shout out Jace. Shout out Jace for that. Gave me a good old deal on that. Of course, it's a Shoresy jersey with the 69 on it. You already know. If you want to see that, go check this out on YouTube. This will be uploaded around the same time there. So much as I can. And I think it's overall a better viewing experience. You get to see me recording this, and well, I say we get on with the podcast. I got nobody to chat with here. This is honestly pretty fucking weird, but anyway, we will start with our 3 on fire this week. I know Colton's gonna have a heyday over 2 of these 3, but here we go. The first one is the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Pittsburgh Penguins had 19 goals in 3 games this week, which is pretty nasty, and they have another game today, which I'm sure they'll do great in. They had 5 players with over 2 points in a game this week. Rust actually counts for 2 of those because he had 3 points in back-to-back games. Crosby had 2 points in all 3 games this week, as well as a lot of other players lighting the lamp for your Pittsburgh Penguins. Just goes to show that they're not just Crosby, Malkin, and bang, bang, Chris Letang. They are a deeper team than everybody thought. They're, especially with someone like Brian Rust lighting it up. And they've got some good depth players. It sucks that they lost Brandon Tanev. He's really good. He's a good physical presence and everything to have for the team. But they're obviously doing just fine by themselves. They don't need them. Fuck them. They're doing great. They're dominating opponents this week. They're a pretty, overall fun team. Tristan Jarry's having a better year than I kind of expected. I don't really watch the Pittsburgh games, I'll be honest, unless they play Calgary, which they do like once a year. But I do know, like, they're not exactly a highlight reel team either. Like, how many of their goals were on highlight reels this week? Not a lot. Whereas some of the other teams we're going to talk about and players, they're on the highlight reels, like Makar's highlight goal and everything. Whereas Pittsburgh's just out here dominating, and they don't need to do it fancy. They've got all these good players, and nobody talks about how Crosby is over a point per game this season, but he just is consistent with 2 points in every single game this week. Consistently just shows that he's still really good, and he may only have 5 goals in 21 games, but he still has 24 points. So he brings a little bit more to the table than some highlight reel goals. He brings consistency, which is really valuable and makes him one of the best players in hockey. So good week from the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Avalanche also had a very good week. McKinnon had a 5-point night in their 7-1 win against the Jets. 9 points in the past 3 games this week. That top line was absolutely buzzing. As you see, Landeskog had a 4-point night, and he was gone since December 10th was his last game, but he came back and got 6 points in 3 games to start off 2022. Welcome to 2022, baby. It's Landeskog's year. Put the fucking phone down, you know what I'm saying? No, but and then Rantanen to cap off that top line. He had 2 3-point nights this week. And then obviously Cale Makar had a highlight goal. That's 4 of their starting 5, all highlight players this week. And I'm pretty sure Eric Johnson is also their 5th of the starting 5. If not, he had a sick week too. Every game that I looked at, he was getting points, so good for him. Let's talk about that Makar goal. Makar absolutely put Kirby Dach in the fucking dust. Buddy hit LT so hard, and Kirby Dach looked like an absolute fool. Not to mention, after that, he's got a straight beeline to the net, and then just fucking throws Flowers' jockstrap in the rafters. Like the edge work on this kid is insane. It's amazing to watch. I've watched that goal so many times, and it is by far a goal of the year candidate. And honestly, you could really make a strong argument that's better than McDavid's goal from earlier this year. A lot of people, it'll be between those 2 goals. Like as of right now, we might see something else later this season. But Makar is just wow. Like for someone so new to the league, he looks so comfortable out there and taking advantage of a weak team like Chicago. That was just such a nice goal, and I'm probably gonna go watch that again right after this. Like, let's be honest, I would go watch that again. That's such a good goal. Also everyone knows McKinnon's good. Everyone knows Rantanen's good. McKinnon, people are saying he's the second best in the league. Whatever. Rantanen is one of the best wingers of the last calendar year. But nobody's talking about the guy that really brings those elite stars at the top line together, Gabriel Landeskog, the captain. Landeskog is not a highlight player, but he'll get you a lot of points because he's playing with these guys and he's setting them up. And Rantanen's obviously kind of the power forward there, and or maybe Landeskog is a power forward. I don't know. But anyway, Landeskog just really he's not as elite as McKinnon or Rantanen, but he's still elite, and he just gets overshadowed by how good the other 2 are. He's very quiet out there, but don't sleep on Landeskog ever. Whether that's in a fantasy pool, a playoff pool, if you can't get McKinnon and you can't get Rantanen, and you're looking for goals all the time. You know how John Carlson always gets points off of Ovechkin's goals? That's Gabriel Landeskog. He's very undervalued. He's a very, very, very good player. Someone that the Avalanche, I'm sure, values a lot. At one point was the youngest captain in the NHL. And, it's pretty good. All right, we're going to move on. So, here this one's really gonna get Colton all riled up. He's listening tightly. He's been talking a lot about Debrincat lately, and I know Chicago's not doing that great right now. And Debrincat himself didn't really have, relatively speaking, an all-star week. He had 4 points in 3 games, which is good. It's just Debrincat really stood out to me this week because of his performance in the Colorado game. They were outmatched, but he still had 2 goals in that game. And, a lot of other people had 2 goals in a game. So what makes him different? Well, I get it's about who's been on fire this week, but Debrincat is just that player who consistently is a top-of-the-league goal scorer. You don't believe me? Well, then why is he tied for 3rd in goals this year on Chicago? Why was he 3rd in goals last year? Why is the lowest he's finished in the ranking of goals in the league 6th in 2017-18? Why is he consistently in the top 6 goals and the goal scorers in the league? He always is. He's a great player. But the thing is he's like 5'9". He's like Johnny Gaudreau height, and he's doing this, which is insane. Johnny Gaudreau was in the top of the league like once, and Debrincat to me holds way more value because he's consistently on a bad team, mind you, in the top 3 for the past like few years, but career wise, consistently in the top like 6 for goal scorers. He's a very underrated player as well. Colton loves him. I think that's a guaranteed Debrincat jersey sale, so you're welcome, Chicago. Colton's probably going to go buy one right after this podcast. And yeah, no, he's a beauty. He's a little ugly, but he can put pucks in the net. He's definitely a goal scorer. It's people like him and Connor Bedard and Ovechkin, when you watch them score, and there's just a way that they score, and you look at them and you go, that's a goal scorer. Like someone, you look at that and you're like, they've been scoring goals for an awfully long time, okay? And Debrincat being such a small player, you wouldn't expect that. You wouldn't expect him to always be one of the best players in the league. Well, everyone's saying, oh, Johnny Gaudreau was one of the best players in the league. 1 year he was. Only 1 year. So what's Gaudreau's excuse now? He's had time. He's basically a vet in the league now. Like, let's be honest. He's just closing up the gap to 30. And, yeah, like, Debrincat's just better than him. Period. Like, people might think, oh, Johnny Gaudreau is, like, the best or whatever. He's not that good, guys. Debrincat's the best small player in the league. Period. I don't want to hear it. I think this week and really just this past month shows how bad the Edmonton Oilers have been. And boy, when those guys are doing bad, I'm going to take the opportunity to talk about it. Pretty sure they only won about somewhere between 3 and 5 games in all of December. That's about a week's worth of games, mind you. And they lost everything else. The team who started off 9-1-0. Yikes, guys. Maybe not 9-1-0. You know what I mean. They had a hot start, and we talked about, are they going to be able to maintain this? I think they flew a little too close to the sun. Connor McDavid's injured now. And they're starting to look at the trade deadline and going, what do we trade for? Well, honestly, guys, you're kind of fucked. You're not making the playoffs with just one added player to your squad right now because you guys suck. And you need goaltending. You need defense. And you need all this and that. You guys may have forward depth, so I probably wouldn't worry about that because you're not going to. But anyway, I think you guys should chase at the trade deadline someone like Ethan Bear is a good defenseman. Someone like Caleb Jones, who's nice and young. I know Chicago is kind of going to be a seller at the deadline. Adam Larson in Seattle as well. Just a bunch of guys like that. I feel really work with the chemistry in Edmonton. I feel like they do good there, and I feel like Edmonton would want them for a while. And they'd keep them around. And obviously, we got to talk about goaltending. Mikko Koskinen and Mike Smith, I'll be honest, not a great tandem. They've got that rookie in there. I don't even know what his fucking name is, honestly. Like Skinner or something, I think. Anyway, everyone thinks he's the next Jesus. Okay, let's calm down here, guys. He had like a few good games here. Your team's still garbage. Fuck. just let's just calm down here. You guys aren't good. You guys have completely fallen out of the race for the Pacific. You need to do something. and quick, because McDavid and Draisaitl are no longer on pace for 50 and 50. Ovechkin basically has the same amount of points as them now, and yeah, they're still leading the league, but they've kind of slowed down, and they're a lot more vulnerable to be taken over for the top of the league. And with that goaltending situation, I think potential trade deadline candidates could be, one of the goalies from Minnesota. I think I heard they were looking at moving. Maybe you guys are looking at capitalizing on a defenseman like John Klingberg. Maybe like a veteran goalie who's looking to win a cup or something. Like, I know there's lots of options for you out there. Tuukka Rask is getting back into the mix, but he'll probably just go back to Boston, so you guys could probably just trade for like Ullmark or something. It's a pretty shit situation out there. I'm not gonna lie. With just me here, it's not a lot to talk about this week. I still felt like I should get an episode out, obviously, as a lot of games were played this week, given, a lot of Canadian games and stuff like that were postponed, but we still had a good week in the NHL. Pittsburgh, Colorado had really good weeks, as well as some other teams. My Flames didn't. Sad. Anyway, they kind of got fucked this week by Florida and Carolina. That's kind of a rough stretch right there. But it just kind of goes to show, like, okay, this is something that actually I do want to talk about before I end this. The Calgary Flames think they can win with the squad that they have. And they've been thinking this for years. And they need to stop thinking that. Because they fucking can't. They can't. Because look what happens. We have a good squad. I'm not denying that. But teams are better. They have better squads. Mainly in the East. Florida. Carolina. Tampa. Now, let's say by some 6-pound, 8-ounce newborn infant Jesus miracle that we made it to the Stanley Cup final. Brandon's got his Flames jersey on. He's got a couple flamethrowers going, and he's got all the boys. He's down at Red Mile. He's getting shit-faced and watching this team, and then outskates the fucking Tampa Bay Lightning with the best goalie in the league, the best defenseman in the league, Steven Stamkos, Nikita Kucherov, Braden Point, all these fucking guys, and who do we got? Johnny Gaudreau, Matthew Tkachuk, Sean Monahan? Oh my god. Guys, if we even make it to the finals, which we're not going to, how are we going to compete against these guys? The second we have to compete against an East team, we're fucked. And even some of the West teams, like Vegas at full strength with Eichel, Stone, Pacioretty, Shea Theodore, Alex Pietrangelo, Robin Lehner, like, they're just disgusting. Jacob Markstrom's so good. I get that. We have a decent decor and everything. But we seriously cannot do anything as a team until we get rid of Lucic's contract, free up some cap space. Because we are in such a horrible... I don't even think we have $1 million in cap space right now to use. And we don't even have nearly as good of a team as Tampa does. And they're handling their cap situation. Like, is it Brad that needs to go? I don't know. But all I'm saying is they need to stop thinking that we can win right now. Because, we get past a round, and then we lose. And then we just end up with a worse pick in the draft. We've seen this one before, Brad. Fucking overhaul the team, or get out there and buy something. You should have bought Eichel. You should have signed... all this, shoulda, coulda, woulda, but it's too late. Okay? It's over. Merry Christmas, where's the fucking Tylenol? Alright? Alright, everybody. That was a good episode this week. Thank you for tuning in. Once again, I appreciate all the listens on the last episode. We look forward to having Colton back on quite a few episodes in the future. Thank you so much for all the support. Blake thanks you too. He just can't be here right now. But he'll be back next week, hopefully. Check us out on Instagram, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, TikTok. And, I'll try and start posting a little bit more everywhere. Till next episode, we'll see you guys later. You ready? And then Blake would go, yeah.